Hi, good evening, everybody. I'd like to welcome you all to the 2022 Southern Georgia Bay Chamber of Commerce Penetanguishene All Candidates Forum. Thank you to the candidates who have joined us this evening. Great to see so many running this year. I know there were a lot in Tiny as well, which was great to see. To begin, I'd like to introduce the candidates, starting in alphabetical order with mayor, then deputy mayor, and then councillor. First is Doug Rosson, mayor. Jill Senema, mayor. Brian Cummings, deputy mayor. Dan Larose, deputy mayor. James Dazel, councillor. Bonita DeRoche, councillor. Lindsay Duquette, councillor. Doug Larue, councillor. Debbie Levy, councillor. Mike McCrae, who hasn't joined us yet, but we'll hope. Robert Malfara, councillor. Suzanne Marshall, councillor. Michael Moyet, councillor. George Vanderbonker, is that right, George? Is that close even?
No N in there. Vadabonker.
Vadabonker, thank you.
That's it.
And Bill Waters, who is not here tonight, but Doug Rosson has kindly offered to read his pre-submitted responses to the questions. So Doug will be reading Bill's answers. And that's it, I guess. That's all of you. My name is Peter Costu, and I will be this evening's moderator. My goal tonight is to allow the candidates the opportunity to present and inform you of their platforms. I'll now go over the agenda for this evening's meeting, which will consist of introductions, questions, and closing statements. First, the introduction by the candidates will be a maximum of 1 minute. Next will be the questions, which have been pre-submitted and then previewed by the candidates. Answers will have 1.5 minute time limit. In terms of vetting questions, they were selected from a variety of submitted questions on various topics. Many good questions, many valid concerns were submitted, but unfortunately due to time constraints, we could not ask them all. Finally, there will be a concluding speech from each candidate, and that will be a minute and a half. Is it a minute and a half or a minute? It's a minute. Sorry, I have a minute and a half here. It's a minute for that, for the concluding speech. And that will be it. A bell will ring 15 seconds before the time is up. It's a bell, or I think it's actually, or do you want to do a, yeah. We're going to do a ringtone for the pre 15 seconds before. And then the bell, which you just heard, will be the time is expired, and it will cut you off just because of time. We have to be pretty tight on that. I should note that you're welcome to use your time as you wish by answering questions or responding to other candidates. I tried to make it as short as I could, so without any further delay, I'd like to hand the mic over to our tonight's first candidate for the opening remarks. Again, alphabetical order, it's Doug Rosson. Oh, that's sorry, that's the sound for the pre 15 seconds left. Sorry, Doug.
Hi, my name is Doug Rosson. I want to be part of a team that will help lead our community forward. Over the past few months, I've visited over 2,500 homes, and you've shared your concerns, your priorities, and opportunities. I have listened and learned. Your priorities are my priorities. I'm committed to maintain and improve the town's infrastructure and assets. Utilize resident input first and not consultants. Achieve budget accountability. Fix neighborhood traffic issues. Optimize planned economic development and take the time needed to represent you. I'm a strong community representative that challenges the status quo. I will scrutinize and hold our system accountable to ensure taxes deliver value to you. Like you, I want to make our community the most vibrant town for our future. I ask for your support and ask you to elect Doug Rosson as mayor for Penetanguishene. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Next we'll go to Jill Senema.
Thank you. Thank you to the Southern Georgian Bay Chamber of Commerce for organizing this event. I'm Jill Senema, running for the position of mayor in the town of Penetanguishene. I'm married to Frank, and together we have 4 adult children and 9 grandchildren, and we are blessed to have them all live within 15 minutes of us. I'm currently on my first term as councillor, and I look forward to continuing to use the skills developed over my 30+ years in the financial services industry in the role as mayor. These include leadership, communication, analytical, and budgeting skills. My 10 years in the real estate industry as a real estate broker provide an extensive knowledge and understanding of contracts and legal documents. Giving back to the community that has been my home for over 40 years provides me with great joy and vast experience working cooperatively and collaboratively with many not-for-profit organizations in our area. I am passionate about Penetanguishene and its residents. I look forward to being the voice for our citizens by listening to your needs and desires and by working together with the other members of council to see our town thrive and continue to be a wonderful place to live. Thank you.
Thank you, Jill. Next, we'll go to Brian Cummings.
Thank you. Hello, bonjour, and Anne. My name is Brian Cummings, and I am running for Deputy Mayor in Penetanguishene. My wife and I moved our family here from Oakville almost 33 years ago because we wanted to live in a smaller community. Penetang offered the pristine waters, the diverse culture, and the beauty of a small town. I'm running because I want to be involved in this community. I'm not afraid to ask critical questions and be accountable for my actions as a leader in this community. I'm also interested in the upper tiers or the upper portion of our governance model. I'm running for Deputy Mayor. Again, thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Next, we'll move to Dan Larose.
Good evening. My name is Dan Larose, and I'm running for the position of Deputy Mayor. I've been a Penetanguishene councillor for 24 years. This term I was appointed as the alternate county rep, which has given me a greater understanding of county matters as they relate to our town. If elected, I would like to see more funding allocated towards maintaining and enhancing our infrastructure as it is the backbone of our town. There are many issues to address this term. One is to find a way to recoup the high costs of the super jail policing, which was unfairly left solely to our residents to pay for. Another priority would be to get resident input on important projects like the town dock and the former PSS property. When dealing with costs of these projects at several $1 million, it is imperative that the taxpayers be properly informed and then they get to have a say. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Next, we'll go to James Dalzell.
Hello there. Thank you for having me. I'm James Dalzell in beautiful Penetanguishene, born and raised in the arena is where I spent most of my days. I won't sing the whole thing, but I'm an actor, rapper, wellness coach. Like I said, born and raised in Penetanguishene. Love it here. I played junior hockey for the Kings. I'm very active in the community now. I'm on the board of the Penetang Kings. I'm a volunteer firefighter in Penetanguishene. I was the treasurer for the association, the Firefighters Association of Penetanguishene for 3 terms. I was treasurer for Students Council at PSS, where I went to school as well. A lot of the issues that are coming up here that I really want to embark on and dig deep on is the environment, OPP, Burkeville, Commodore Hotel, new businesses in town, affordable housing, all the same things that everybody else is asking about, being a resident here and raising 2 young children in this town now. All those issues really matter to me as well. And yes, thank you for your time and looking forward to debating more.
Thank you, James. Next, we'll go to Bonita Desroches.
Hello, bonjour. I am Bonita Desroches and I'm running for council. I'm a seasoned, ambitious Francophone with a passion for community. Through my various volunteer and work experiences, I have in-depth knowledge of municipal government. I'm a proud resident of the town of Penetanguishene, and I want to make a difference. I want to bring change to our beautiful little town by awakening its unique and vibrant potential through bold investments and sound financial and municipal planning. If elected, I plan to implement the town's strategic priorities and bring the little town that could to its full potential. Of course, this will not be possible without you, the citizens of Penetanguishene. I'm an open-minded person and will take my cues from you to ensure that the town is for residents and guided by residents. I encourage you to check out my website at votebonita.ca to learn more about me and what I represent. Merci. Thank you.
Thank you, Bonita. And next, we'll go to Lindsay Duquette.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lindsay Duquette. I was born and raised here in beautiful Penetanguishene. I'm currently a stay-at-home mom to one busy 2-year-old little boy, and I'm an entrepreneur as well, running a small business. To me, running means creating a town that my little boy will be proud to grow up in. I loved growing up here. I am very much interested in all our nature and conserving what we have and protecting it for years to come. I'd like to see our town grow and become everything it can while protecting its rich history. We have so much to offer here, and it's time to showcase it. I hope that we can enhance our recreation as well as provide some new schools. I'd love to be a voice to help them get what they need. And I hope that you provide some votes. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lindsay. Next we'll go to Doug Larue.
Am I there? Okay. My name is Douglas Larue, born and raised in Penetanguishene. I've had the honor of serving the citizens of Penetanguishene for the past term as their mayor. I have served in municipal politics for 25 years. 7 of those years were as a deputy mayor, now mayor, and the balance as a councillor. I was a county councillor for 11 years, representing the best interests of the county as well as those of Penetanguishene. I was a founding member of the Southern Georgian Bay Chamber of Commerce and became its 2nd president. I am bilingual, being fluent in both the English and French languages. I am seeking re-election as a councillor only in order to have more time with family and friends. Thank you.
Thank you, Douglas. Next we'll go to Debbie Levy.
Thank you very much. Good evening. I moved here 31 years ago and started the Reading Room Bookstore on the main street 30 years ago. Before running for council, I became very involved in town issues and sat on several committees. I also worked as a journalist covering municipal, provincial, and federal issues. Since sitting on council, I've been chair of planning and development and public works and vice chair of both of those as well. I represent Penetanguishene on economic development, North Simcoe, and Midland Penetanguishene Transit Committee. My goals for the upcoming term is to focus on maintaining existing infrastructure and rely more on our residents and less on outside consultants. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Debbie. Next, go to, well, Mike McCrae, if he's here or not. Nope, hasn't, not here yet. So we'll go to Robert Malfara. No Robert. Maybe I overlooked him as well. Okay, we'll go to Suzanne Marshall.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Suzanne Marshall, and I'm running for council as a first-time candidate. Bonjour à tous et tous. Je m'appelle Suzanne Marshall et je suis très fière d'être une francophone et très contente d'être ici ce soir. I've been a member of this community for many years, and that I was born in La Fontaine, however, attended high school at ESPSS before going off to McMaster University, where I did receive my degree in political science and a minor in human resources. I've been an active member in my community in many capacities through raising my family here in Penetanguishene, where they both attended École Saint-Louis here in Penetanguishene. Through my work as the executive director of the Georgian Bay Cancer Support Center and currently with the Chickamick Community Health Center, I'm privileged and happy to be able to not only live, but also work in this beautiful community that we call home. Throughout my time in the last several years, I've been very active throughout my community through service and volunteer work. I was a member of the Georgian Bay Cancer Support Center organization, as mentioned. I worked and sat on the hospital board as the Francophone representative for 4 years, and I'm still an active member on the Patient and Family Advisory Committee that I sit on a quarterly basis. Proud member of Penetanguishene Minor Hockey Association and served on the board for 4 years. My son is still active in hockey as well. Also, I just completed 6-year term with the Martyr Shrine, so lots of activity in terms of providing service and support throughout the communities that I serve and live in.
Thank you. Thank you, Suzanne. Thank you.
Great.
Time was up. Thank you very much. Next, we'll go to Michael Mayette.
There we go. Sorry about that. Thank you. Good evening. My name is Michel Mayette. Lived in this town for 45 years. Most of you will probably know me from the Service Ontario, the license words are called. Been doing that for 35 years. I've been on council for 18 years, enjoyed every day of it. And there is quite some challenges coming up, as some of the other candidates were saying. And that's why I'd like to get reelected to stay on council to try to finish or push ahead with some of the problems that we have, like the policing, affordable housing, and other issues that we have with the government, basically. J'aimerais remercier les francophones ce soir pour écouter les candidats, les débats des candidats. Je suis fier de vous représenter comme les francophones pour la ville de Penetanguishene. J'espère pour votre vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Next, we'll go to George Vadabonker. Yeah.
Keep trying to slide that N in there. It's 4 little
I'm
French
sorry.
words, and we have lots of francophones. Vadabonker. So it means go of good heart in the translation. So anyway, I'll start then. So good evening. My name is George Vadabonker, and I'm running for re-election as councillor. I was first elected in 2018 and have served on the Finance and Corporate Services and Planning and Community Development Committees, as well as the Library Board. I have over 38 years of municipal experience in large and small municipalities, 27 years as a Chief Administrative Officer. I feel council accomplished a lot this term. 3 of my highlights are: we kept tax increases close to or at zero while increasing the amount spent on road and sidewalk repairs and paying down debt. We purchased the property at 51 Dunlop Street, and we undertook a needs assessment of the Penetanguishene Arena to determine the physical condition of the building and options for the future. A few of my priorities for the next term are: determine the appropriate use of the property at 51 Dunlop Street, work with staff to develop and implement a financial plan for the construction of a future arena, work with the County of Simcoe to bring more affordable housing to Penetanguishene, support Burkeville in its quest for a new school, and initiate a review of the bylaw enforcement program. With my municipal background, I have the experience to get things done. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, George. And now we'll have Bill Waters, who's, not, like I said, not here, but it'll be read by Doug Rosson.
So here's a snippet from Bill. So an intro of Bill Waters, nominee for council. My unique position on Main Street has put me in contact with a wide selection of residents over the 40+ years I have operated my business in town. I hope to take their concerns and values with me as your councillor. Bill Waters, nominee for council.
Thank you, Doug, and thank you, Bill. Okay, now we move on to the questions. These are questions that have been pre-submitted by email and phone. Please note the purpose of this form is to enlighten us on the position of the candidates. In the past, there have been requests to make the form into a debate format with rebuttals, but because there are so many, we are limited by time. I'd like to, however, again, remind the candidates that they are free to use their time as they wish and free to respond to the questions and responses from the other candidates. The questions that will be asked tonight will be ones that can be posed to all candidates. And the first question is, what plans are in place to attract and support interesting new businesses to the downtown? Now, we'll go again alphabetical order, but we'll put who went first at the bottom, so it's kind of roll around. So we'll start now with Jill.
Sorry, the joys of unmuting. During the current term of council, a community improvement plan has been developed as a tool to improve and revitalize our downtown. The plan is used to encourage private sector development and investment within the defined area of the town by landowners and/or tenants. There are financial incentives available via grants or loans under different sections of the community improvement plan, including building facade improvement, signage improvement, and building improvement. New property standard bylaws have also been developed that provide guidelines for the maintenance of properties in town. Should there be complaints indicating that they are not being adhered to, there are consequences that will encourage the property owners to bring the property up to standards and keep them that way. The town also works closely with the Economic Development Corporation of North Simcoe to work jointly with the town of Midland and the townships of Tiny and Tay to achieve a better position for investment and business attraction. Thank you.
Thank you, Jill. Next, we'll go to Brian. I'll read the question again. What plans are in place to attract and support interesting new businesses to the downtown?
As far as I'm concerned, Penetanguishene really needs to focus on business to this community. We are not really doing a good job as far as I'm concerned. Our Economic Development Committee does a great job in North Simcoe. However, I believe that we need to hire a business development officer for Penetanguishene proper. The sole purpose of this job is to search out and invite businesses to come and see what we have to offer. If we give them the resources to seek out new business adventures and the ability to offer incentives to entice them to our town, the position itself would pay for itself if we got one industrial business that came to town. This would also lessen the tax burden on our residential taxpayers. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Next, go to Dan. What plans are in place to attract and support interesting new businesses to the downtown?
Thank you. So to me, the overall plan began a few years ago with the reconstruction of Main Street. Changing the underground infrastructure and adding new sidewalks and pavement has made it a more desirable place for people to come and open up their business. The town currently has a facade program with a budget of approximately $25,000 per year. As most people will know, I have never been in favor of this program and would like to see the money reallocated to a joint marketing venture that could involve all businesses throughout the town. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Next, we go to James. What plans are in place to attract and support interesting new businesses to the downtown?
I have a few, but I feel like, did you guys skip Doug?
We're trying to make it even, so he's going to be doing it to the bottom now, and because he started, so we're kind of rolling it around. But good question.
Thank you. All right, so yeah, being a new business in town, my wife and I have the Pulse Nutrition, which is a new business in Penetanguishene. You know, a new interesting business, I think. You know, we kind of have a different view on things. So as for bringing business and helping to attract businesses into town, I think it's something, thinking outside the box, as I like to do, and probably something that we might not hear, is to bring back festivals is something that I'd really like to do, and more events in town. Again, like we used to have, help bring some people into town, see the beautiful town that we have, and just be around, which I think would help entice new businesses. Obviously, one of the things that I mentioned before is the Commodore, and there's not a whole lot that we can do per se about that, but if there's some kind of push that we could have to get that building either fixed up or torn down or whatever, it's I think that is detracting from business in this town. So there's that. Also, as mentioned, there is some money for businesses. So yeah, like I said, I just like to bring more people into town and see what we have to offer. And I think that would help a lot.
Okay. Thank you, James. Next, we'll go to Bonita. What plans are in place to attract and support interesting new businesses to the downtown?
Thank you. The key to success in building a healthy business community in a small town, I believe, is to create an economic development plan that maximizes the community's strengths and minimizes its weaknesses. The town of Penetanguishene, in consultation with residents and businesses, completed a business retention and expansion strategy and a community improvement plan. At the beginning of each council term, it also appoints an economic advisory committee to assist with the execution of these guiding documents. I believe that the time has come to roll up our sleeves and put our money where our mouth is. If the town is truly serious in supporting and keeping the businesses it already has and attracting new ones, it needs to regularly consult and engage with the business community and empower them in making decisions that affect them directly. It needs to dedicate staff and monies that will make a difference to the downtown's revitalization and deliver tangible results. It also needs to ensure that the right people are sitting at the economic advisory table in order to keep business development and retention top of mind and delivering results. Thank you.
Thanks, Bonita. Next, we'll go to Lindsay. What plans are in place to attract and support interesting new businesses to the downtown?
So I would agree, we do need some marketing strategy. Towns and businesses around us have created their own little niche where we have nothing. It's just come start a business, where we have a lot of space, a lot of places we can put some businesses, from big ones to just little ones. Another issue is our main street is a hill. And that poses a lot of issues for a lot of people with mobility. I know just for me, I don't want to push a stroller or a wagon up the hill to go shopping. So like James said, having events where businesses can be in one place. We have the waterfront to do it. This makes people go to one spot on flat ground, and more people are able to see what these businesses offer that are already in our town or may want to come to our town and are more likely to go and visit what we have. I think this is really important, as well as making it brighter as we've been doing and keeping it clean.
Thanks, Lindsay. Next, we'll go to Doug. What plans are in place to attract and support interesting new businesses to the downtown? That's Doug Larue. Oh, Doug, your mute's on, Doug.
How's that?
Yep, that's good. Oh, I think you double clicked.
Okay.
There you go. Try that, Doug.
Okay.
Yep, you're good.
Okay, so we have had a new business opened on our main street just over a year ago. We have had 3 new businesses open just recently in the past 3 months, and we have 2 more being planned for. Our Economic Advisory Committee is working in order to help improve the downtown core. We have funding available for storefront rehabilitation. We also work with our partners at EDCNS and North Simcoe Communities Futures Development Corps and our Southern Georgian Bay Chamber of Commerce. I believe that our main street is definitely progressing.
Thank you, Douglas. And next we'll go to Debbie. What plans are in place to attract and support interesting new businesses to the downtown?
The most important step we can take to attract businesses to the downtown core is to eliminate the tax reduction on vacant commercial spaces. That alone would encourage landlords to upgrade their buildings and attract tenants. The town assists landlords with improvement grants. We must keep the newly constructed Main Street in pristine condition by having regular weed removal and properly patch the stonework when it is dug up. Patching with asphalt is not acceptable. We cannot dictate what businesses would open on the street, but we can set the stage for attraction and success. Last but not least, we can shop local. That won't attract businesses, but it's the only way to keep them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Debbie. Next, we have Mike McCrae, but I don't see him on yet, so we'll pass on that. And then Robert Malfara, we don't see him yet either, so we'll pass on him as well. So we'll go to Suzanne. What plans are in place to attract and support interesting new businesses to the downtown?
As a new member of council, I believe it is important for me to understand the work that has been done, and thank you to those of you who serve on council and have highlighted a lot of the great work that has been done and established. And it's about taking that work to the next level, and it's working with the various partnerships that have been identified and that exist. It is talking to local businesses and understanding what attracted them. You know, Doug, you highlighted some great new businesses that have opened, and it's really great to see that we've been able to see new businesses open on the main street. Something drew them here, and that's really important to have their engagement and have them part of this discussion and future support. I'm also very much alongside with Jamie in that I feel it's really important to highlight our community and bring a signature cultural event to our town. We have a beautiful main street, we have a beautiful waterfront, and it's a wonderful opportunity to really showcase that and encourage individuals to learn more about Penetanguishene, and also the opportunity of opening potentially a business there as well. So as a new candidate, it's really important to really listen to a lot of the wonderful work that has already been started, and how can I contribute and leverage that and bring it to the next level. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Suzanne. And next we'll go to Michael Moyet. The question is, what plans are in place to attract and support interesting new businesses to the downtown?
Thank you for the question. Well, actually, what can I add? I mean, all of the candidates were there pretty well said everything that we're looking for. Like, I've always been in support for these mom and pop shops. I like them because they're smaller and it's friendlier, and that's what I'd like to draw back in here. Like, don't take me wrong, I'd love to have a nice big factory up on the top end of Fuller or Robert Street, you know, to have especially some of the kids that are finished high school, they can get a trade, something like that. Big support for that. Like I say, we either cut the taxes somehow or invite them, give them, I don't know, incentive to stay, to open up. And like candidate Larue was saying, we've got some coming in, and that's very important to support them. So I don't think I can add anything else, because a lot of the candidates basically are saying what is needed to be done, or we could try to do anyways, to bring in new businesses. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Next we'll go to George. What plans are in place to attract and support interesting new businesses to the downtown?
Thank you. I think it's exciting that we've seen new businesses open on our main street. I think we need to continue the work of the Economic Advisory Committee and engaging with existing property owners on strategies to attract new tenants. We need to use the tools offered under the Community Improvement Plan to support local business and landlords. Part of the discussion may include a rent deferral program to allow new businesses to get up and running before having to pay full rent. And there may be other programs available from our partners in economic development. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Next we'll go to Bill Waters, who again, he's not couldn't make it tonight, but his answer will be read by Doug Rosson. What plans are in place to attract and support interesting new businesses to the downtown?
So this response is from Bill Waters. Attracting new business is one thing, keeping them is another. Like a snowball rolling down a hill, the more it gets pushed, the bigger it becomes. Finally, it gets big enough to roll on its own. To grow business, we need to support it. COVID has been particularly hard on retail, unless you were Walmart and Costco. Many that had not used online shopping started supporting the likes of Amazon. We need to get people to think local first. Support our friends and neighbors. I propose a series of shop local signs in the parking lots of our main employers like Waypoint, Central North, GBGH, the town, schools, all of which rely on tax revenue. In addition, places where the public gather like the arena, curling club, bowling, etc. Signs in the respective lunch areas would be beneficial. A request from an organization like the town and our Chamber of Commerce would likely receive a favorable response as opposed to a request from private business. And again, that's a response from Bill Waters.
Thank you, Bill, and thank you, Doug. Now we're going to go to Doug for his answer. What plans are in place to attract and support interesting new businesses to the downtown?
So during my visits with residents, I've learned what is important while hearing and learning how we can grow. We have so much talent in our town, and I've heard from residents that want to start a business here. I've created an action plan based on all this feedback. Action Plan 1, we must create a winning aspiration that attracts people to our town. We need to increase festivals in partnership with our community groups. Let's celebrate our excellence and support more curling bonspiels as we did with the 2015 Ontario Scotties Tournament of Hearts. We need to grow Winnorama with events like our hockey tournament and Crash Up Derby. We must establish a goal to become a Community in Bloom champion by 2025. Action number 2. We need to review our budget allocations that support our business community and focus on partnerships and marketing. We must let our locals know what is available while telling people beyond our town borders all the treasures that's available here. Action plan number 3. We must phase out the property tax credit for vacant commercial properties. I have heard from many about the specific properties on our main street that is an eyesore, and the end of this policy will address this.
Okay, thank you, Doug. So now we're going to move on to question number 2. And we'll start with Brian on this. What do you think would be the best option for the future of the former hospital site in Penetanguishene?
That would be me. Unfortunately, we did lose our hospital, our emergency services in that wonderful hospital that we had. The future of this site is unknown at this point. It is for sale, and the municipality really has no control over the site. My personal opinion, though, would be if it was possible, whoever bought the property, we could work with the developer to create affordable housing within the building. The town of Parry Sound, I don't know whether you know or not, has converted their old hospital into apartment style living, and it seems to be working up there. It's affordable and people can live in 1 and 2 bedroom apartments up there. So why not look at Penetang Hospital site for the same type of living? Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. Let's go to Dan. Again, the question, what do you think would be the best option for the future of the former hospital site in Penetanguishene?
Thank you. I think that the former hospital site would be a great location for a school like Burkeville. If the school board and the provincial government were interested in purchasing it, I'm pretty sure that the town would be behind that. Another option I would support would be if the building was renovated for low-income housing. However, as Brian just said, the site is not owned by the town, so council cannot unilaterally dictate what will happen there, but it would review any development plans if the property needed to be rezoned. So we could look at it. Hopefully there will be a sale soon and we'll deal with it as it comes along. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Next we'll go to James. What do you think will be the best option for the future of the former hospital site in Penetanguishene?
All right, so like like Brian and Dan just said, a couple great options there, or some that I had down. Obviously, the Burkeville School needs to be bigger, so that would be good. And affordable housing, again, another huge one that people are dealing with. And as mentioned, the lot is for sale, so there's not really much we can do about it. But what I would love to see personally, maybe if not there somewhere, but since this question has been asked, I'd love to see a brewery come into town. Not just because it'd be a great place for people to go, and but I do think it would draw a lot of attention. You see a lot of breweries now that people are going to. There's a great restaurants in there typically, and it just will stimulate the economy a lot because people tend to travel to different breweries all over the province, and I think it would be kind of a cool thing to have one locally. Get Penetang on the map with that, and just a little, again, outside the box kind of thing. Probably won't hear many people think of, so I think that would be kind of a cool spot to do that.
Thanks, James. Next we go to Bonita. What do you think will be the best option for the future of the former hospital site in Penetanguishene?
Thank you. I'd like to start by really sincerely thanking residents of Penetanguishene and the PGH staff who over the years embraced the small hometown hospital and consistently and wholeheartedly support it in every aspect. It would be a lie to say that it doesn't hurt to have lost this exceptional service in our community, along with PSS. However, in the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. As other candidates have mentioned, PGH is not owned by the town. It is owned by GBGH, and it is expected to be on the real estate market within the next year. Its future will depend on the buyer. If anything was possible, and if I could dream, the former hospital site would be a great location for affordable housing units, expansion of possibly WNDAC community programs and housing, a hotel and a conference center, relocation of Burfield School, and the wish list goes on. If residents were inclined and supported the purchase of this property, the town could then move forward with a structural assessment, feasible study, and decide its fate. There's one thing, however, that I'm sure of. Whatever happens with the PGA site, residents of Penetanguishene will adapt and support as they always do. Thank you.
Thanks, Bonita. Next, we go to Lindsay. What do you think will be the best option for the future of the former hospital site in Penetanguishene?
Well, after listening to everybody else, I think my idea might be a little out there. I'd like to see it stay in the medical community. Our services in town have dwindled away. It would be nice to have a walk-in clinic, which doesn't exist. It would also be nice to have different health services like your therapists, physiotherapy, maybe some speech pathologists for our kids in our community. It would be nice to see alternative medicine be brought in there, not a general hospital, so to speak, but just a health hub, maybe even working with Waypoint to bring in some mental health care as well. I think it wouldn't require any rezoning because it already is zoned to be a hospital, and it's needed in our community for all of our citizens. Thank you.
Thanks, Lindsay. Let's go to Doug Larue. What do you think will be the best option for the future of the former hospital site in Penetanguishene?
Am I there?
Yes.
Okay. And as previously stated by everyone, that have to realize that the former hospital site is not owned by the town. It is owned by GBGH, the Georgian Bay General Hospital. It is presently for sale and may possibly have a few offers. The purchaser of this property will be the one to decide and determine what they wish to do with this property, and then they would have to apply to the town council for rezoning. It is presently zoned institutional. Thank you.
Thank you, Douglas. Next, we go to Debbie. What do you think would be the best option for the future of the former hospital site in Penetanguishene?
Thank you. Well, as others have said, it is not controlled by the town. Having said that, when we see what is proposed, we can work with the developer. It has to either fit the current zoning or get the required amendments passed. Council, along with the planning department, can have some degree of influence when it comes to final plans. It will no doubt be housing, so I will be advocating for a mix of affordable and market prices. I say market prices because the reality is that the market prices will allow a developer to actually achieve some affordable housing, possibly even partnering with the county of Simcoe, who is our provider of affordable housing for Penetanguishene. But to have it all affordable, a developer's not going to touch it. To have a mix is the ideal situation. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. Let's go to Mike, still not here. Robert Malfara, still not here. We'll go to Suzanne. What do you think will be the best option for the future of the former hospital site in Penetanguishene?
Well, I think, I echo the sentiments of all the candidates, and certainly understanding that first and foremost, that property does not belong to the town of Penetanguishene, and it is the property of Georgian Bay General Hospital. The for sale sign's been up for a little while, and similarly, I think, when it does come to council, if rezoning is required and asked for, that we influence as we can through that. I think these questions that were submitted are so important to be voiced and presented to not only us as candidates, but those who are also watching. One of the key reasons I'm also choosing to run is to also educate other individuals within our community who are not perhaps aware that the hospital, as an example, is not owned by the town. So our influence is somewhat limited from that perspective. And so I think these questions are wonderful. So it gives the opportunity that we are ensuring that our residents of Penetanguishene understand what is within the control of municipalities, what are jurisdictions, where they lie, and how we can influence them. Thank you.
Thanks, Suzanne. Next we'll go to Mike Miette. What do you think would be the best option for the future of the former hospital site in Penetanguishene?
Thank you for the question. Like everybody else was saying, like we don't own the town doesn't own the hospital, it's owned by DVGH, and I would like to see, like, if there is offers on it, whoever purchases the site, I would love for them to sit down with the new council that we're going to have and discuss what they would like and what do we think about it. And of course, for me, I would definitely push for affordable housing because it's very well needed, or apartments for the seniors, like something like what we've got with Wendat that's beside the St. Louis on Dunlop, like something in that effect. I'd really go for something like that. So I'm hoping whoever purchases that they will come to the town and make a presentation and ask the town or the council to say, what would you guys like for us to put there? We can work with you and give them breaks, whatever we can do to get this going. But I would definitely put for affordable housing. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Mike. Next we'll go to George. What do you think would be the best option for the future of the former hospital site in Penetanguishene?
Thank you. I think the best option would be for residential uses. It is a 4.6 acre piece of property that has frontage on 2 streets with good access. I think a series of low-rise 1- and 2-bedroom rental apartment buildings would be great. This would provide an option for those that no longer need the space of a large home and want to live close to shopping, banks, and other services. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Next we go to Bill Waters, who again is not here, but his answer will be read by Doug Rosson. What do you think would be the best option for the future of the former hospital site in Penetang?
Again, this response is from Bill Waters. The old hospital is not owned by the town, so there's little the town can do except work with the owner or developer to make it viable. I would hope the millions that the public donated to refit the hospital prior to its closing left the building usable, and if so, perhaps a group home type situation where each individual gets a private room and shares in a communal kitchen. Staff would be on site to assist with their day-to-day challenges, yet provide a dignified, independent lifestyle. Response from Bill Waters.
Great. Thank you to Bill Waters, and thanks for reading that, Doug. And now it's Doug Rosson's answer to the question, what do you think will be the best option for the future of the former hospital site in Penetanguishene?
During my visits with residents, I've learned that many people are concerned with the former PGH site, as they are with the PSS site. As a community, we have lost important community assets that help communities grow and thrive. Decisions and planning for the future land development and use for large properties like PGH and PSS require thoughtful dialogue and input from our residents. I feel that we've relied too much on external consultants to tell us what we think and should do. Most recently, this was presented with the Town Dock Master Plan and redevelopment. Consultants suggest and prepare a plan forward that does not resemble or appreciate what the community wants. Specifically for the PGH site, we need to ensure that any planned use for the site maximizes community value while maintaining the community's charm. We must assure neighbors that their curb appeal and the proposed site's approach will only enhance the community. We have heard tonight ideas for the future of PGH, but let's ensure the community is part of the conversation in conjunction with the zoning amendment process.
Thank you, Doug. And finally, Jill Senemo, what do you think would be the best option for the future of the former hospital site in Penetanguishene?
Thank you. As mentioned, the site is owned by GBGH and it is currently up for sale. We don't have the information regarding the status of the building and its ability to be repurposed as it currently sits or whether it needs to be demolished. So it is difficult to say what the highest and best use for the site would be. Its current use is deemed to be a community facility use. And as per our official plan, community facilities provide an essential part of creating a sustainable, livable community. These facilities are intended to provide a network of schools, parks, open spaces, and recreation, libraries, places of worship, cultural and heritage facilities, and medical facilities to serve the community. They serve the function of meeting the needs of the residents while promoting community pride, enhancing the overall quality of life, and providing essential services to the town. Obviously, these are things that we would like to continue to enhance that area if possible. Providing there was support from the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Finance, that site could be utilized as a new location for Burkevale. And it could also be a great medical center. And for a developer, the county could make proposal for affordable and attainable residential units. Rezoning would be required, and taking into account the existing neighborhood and the community around it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jill. And last but not least is Brian. Oh, wait a minute now. Sorry, now I've jumped it. That's it. We're on to question 3 now. Moving along. Question 3. What specific steps would you take to make rental housing more affordable in the area? And we'll start here, not with Brian, but with Dan.
Thank you. Great big question, and it's a big problem all over. No matter where we go in our provinces or whether we go anywhere in the country, it's a big problem. I think we need to work with the county, plus the province and the federal government to come up with a strategy to provide more affordable housing. This is not something the town can do alone. I would like to add that there's also a bylaw in place that allows basement apartments and granny suites, which does provide additional opportunities for rental supply that could be utilized. This is fairly new to the town, and I'm hoping that they will incur a little bit more business in that sort of regards, and that will help to increase our amount. Also, if we had no short-term rentals in town, it would create long-term rental opportunities. It would allow those houses to be used by regular people that would be living here on a full-time basis. Thanks.
Thank you, Dan. Let's go to James. What specific steps would you take to make rental housing more affordable in the area?
All right, so specific steps that I would take, or something that I would like to maybe try, at least look at and implement, would be co-op housing. I'm not sure if that's something that we have in town, but it's something that I've seen done in other locations. And basically what happens, for those that aren't aware, is people help and offer their services or their help to the building in general, and that kind of lowers their rental payments. So something like that I think would be fantastic, would be well needed. I do believe that the town has a grant or incentive program, kind of as Dan was mentioning, to set up a basement apartment for families, homes that have the basement that can convert it into a rental unit. I believe there is an incentive there. If not, there should be, or there could be, which might help as well. But I do think a co-op would be a great idea, something that could help with that.
Thank you, James. Next, we'll go to Bonita. What specific steps would you take to make rental housing more affordable in the area?
Thank you. Well, the issue of housing affordability is certainly a complex one. Solving it isn't impossible. I believe that the best way to increase affordability is to create more housing supply within Penetanguishene by building places where people can live, work, and play. This process is supported by the town's new official plan that was approved in 2020. This new land use policy guides and manages the town's growth and development and permits density improvements. It helps us use existing buildings, backyards, and other available spaces to create extra units, such as laneway housing, secondary suites, and basement apartments. However, increasing the housing supply is a daunting task and will require support from all levels of government, as many have mentioned, from the federal government, provincial, and the county, not only through policy, but also through funding programs. Housing strategies supported by financial support will permit small towns like Penetanguishene to facilitate and bolster housing inventory, helping to keep rental rates at an affordable level. Thank you.
Thanks, Bonita. Next, we go to Lindsay. What specific steps would you take to make rental housing more affordable in the area?
So first step I would take is meeting with the county and seeing what they can offer as far as more affordable housing, as well as with the provincial government for some incentives and some funding for that. Next would be promoting the secondary suites, basement apartments, granny flat programs that have just started in town. The new bylaws that were passed in regards to that, I don't think people are aware of those quite yet. And I think we need to be promoting that, as well as providing incentives for the people that want to build these units. Will definitely help. I know being a young family, it's definitely directly impacting me, and I see it through everybody. So having somewhere to go as well for all of your information to one direct person at town would be so much helpful, as opposed to trying to jump through all the hoops to get the bylaws you need. So that's what I would like to see happen in our town. Thank you.
Thanks, Lindsay. Next, we go to Doug. What specific, Doug Larue, what specific steps would you take to make rental housing more affordable in the area?
One is dealing with the Development Charges Act. Secondly is dealing with a policy in the province's growth plan. And lastly, being Bill 109, which changed the Planning Act. They all have to do with development charges. Deferral to DCs will help. However, rental units are still above affordable. Therefore, we must continue to work with the county for affordable housing. Thank you.
Thank you, Douglas. Next, we go to Debbie. What specific steps would you take to make rental housing more affordable in the area?
As others have said, every municipality in Canada is battling with this issue. Prices will come down only if we can increase availability. During my time as chairing and planning, as chair of planning and development, we have completely rewritten the planning and zoning bylaws. We have greatly increased the allowable square footage for secondary suites, and we have permitted secondary homes where the lots are appropriate. We need to educate our residents on these changes. These moves will increase rental units, provide an income stream for young families, and for seniors struggling financially to stay in their homes. Now we have to educate homeowners to increase the buy-in. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. Again, Mike not here, Robert's not here. Suzanne Marshall, what specific steps would you take to make rental housing more affordable in the area?
Thank you. As previously stated, certainly this is a challenge that we're seeing across our province. We're seeing it across the country, and supply and demand is certainly one of the issues that is driving that. The town of Penetanguishene has done an excellent job in looking at bylaws and putting things in place to ensure that we're in a position that we can start to support and really ensure that as housing comes available or is another option for those who have homes, that they're able to increase those capacities in terms of granny suites or additional apartment style supply and accommodations. What I think is really important, and this is another particular issue that directly as a municipality we do not have control over. We do work with the counties, but you know, affordable housing really is an initiative that was been dropped from a federal perspective, and a big role that I feel that we need to take as a municipality is continue to lobby at all levels of government that collectively we need a solution for this. Not one municipality is going to resolve it on their own. We need to work collectively and lobby at all levels of the appropriate government as it relates to affordable housing and how we can assist with that. Thank you.
Thanks, Suzanne. Next, we go to Mike. What specific steps would you take to make rental housing more affordable in the area?
Thank you for the question. There's what we can do, as you know, like for example, in August, all the municipalities met in Ottawa, what they call the AMO conference. And it's not only our town or Simcoe County that has problems with affordable housing, it's the whole province. And this is why we've been lobbying to the province, to the Minister of Housing, saying, hey, look, like Penetanguishene is ready to go. We probably have land that we can get some affordable housing done on it. So we have to try to work a little bit harder, maybe with the province and with Simcoe County, to get this here going. And there's a different style of affordable housing we can have, but we still got to, I don't know, go after the government, go after Simcoe County saying, let's get moving. So I'd like to see this move a little bit quicker than what it is. So I'm hoping if elected that, I can sit on that and let's get this going here. It's been sitting dormant for too long. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Next we'll go to George. What specific steps would you take to make rental housing more affordable in the area?
Thank you. I would support policies that require developers to provide a certain amount of affordable rental housing in their developments. I would also support working with the County of Simcoe to build more affordable rental units in town. There used to be a senior level of government program where they subsidized the rent on rental units for a period, and I believe it was 20 years. I would look to see what programs exist and how the municipality can encourage developers to take advantage of them. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Next we'll go to Bill Waters, and like we're saying, he's not here tonight, but his answer will be read by Doug Rosson. What specific steps would you take to make rental housing more affordable in the area?
Again, this response is from Bill Waters. Rental housing has been asked a lot. Low-cost rental housing is a county challenge and not a town mandate. The town, however, can provide surplus land at a reduced cost to assist in lowering costs. I think it's important that low-cost home ownership be given a priority. Years ago, a program called AHOP, Assisted Home Ownership Program, provided a prorated mortgage to new homeowners where the mortgage started reduced and increased with time. The 3-bedroom homes were also capped at 1,021 square feet and had unfinished basements, not the monster homes built today. Hilltop Estates here in Penetanguishene is an example of a well-maintained development using this program. Again, that's a response from Bill Waters.
Thank you to Bill, and thanks for reading that, Doug. And now we'll go for Doug Rosson's, Doug Rosson's, lost my spot here. Doug Rosson, yeah. What specific steps would you take to make rental housing more affordable in the area?
One concern for many while going door to door was the affordability of day-to-day living. Many residents have urged that there's no more money to give and that more must be done to keep taxes in check. Surprisingly, I heard from many that they're paying upwards of $3,000 a month in rent. We need to address the affordability of housing and living with an action. Many will speak about social programs, low-income housing, social housing, or defer to another level of government. I caution everyone that we can do more and we must do more to make affordability a priority. One direct action item we can control is property taxes. My plan, as described earlier, highlights that we will achieve budget accountability. Action number 1, we will review services that can be shared and ensure they deliver taxpayer value, like we're doing with the fire chief in Midland. Action 2, we'll hold the municipal operating budget to 1% or less in 2023 and decrease the operating budget by 0.25% each year. Operating efficiency and growth within the town can compensate for increased operating costs. We must continue investing in our transit program to make it more accessible for everyone to access work, educational opportunities, and healthcare. Transit is a benefit, but it still creates barriers, and we must do more. The whole conversation we're having is not just about housing supply, but it's about how we can make it affordable. And I just want to go on to one more piece. We're all talking about the increased policing costs of the Super Joe with an increased cost of $500,000. And that is a cost that was accepted by our council. And I would argue my opponent moved that motion 1 year ago on July 17, 2021.
Thank you, Doug. Next we go to Jill. What specific steps would you take to make rental housing more affordable in the area?
Thank you. As shared by many of our candidates, rental prices are established primarily by supply and demand. And as the supply of rental properties increases and gets closer to filling the demand, prices should become more affordable. Many steps have been taken through the latest update of our town's zoning bylaw, allowing for the creation of more affordable rental accommodations, specifically through secondary dwellings, garden suites, and laneway housing in certain circumstances. There are new policies as well for the cost and payment of building fees for rental housing that have been established, providing the developer with longer periods of time to pay the development fees, thereby opening greater opportunities for them to reduce their rental rates as they go forward. I would also like to seek to establish a task force with our other North Simcoe municipalities to address the housing crisis and tackle the issues collaboratively as a problem not in just one municipality, but throughout the area. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jill. And now it's Brian. Last but not least, what specific steps would you take to make rental housing more affordable in the area?
I think affordable housing is a bigger picture than we all realize. I think that in order for someone to be able to live in Penetanguishene, we need to look at several factors revolving around, believe it or not, economic development. We look at people needing a job. They look at having a living wage. We look at access to affordable daycare, reliable transportation, and food and shopping that is relatively close. These are all factors that run into affordable housing in order for people to be able to buy or to afford rent. All these factors revolve around attracting businesses and developers to work with the town to create these housing avenues. I also think seniors are a big role here. Seniors want to downsize, but they can't because there's nothing for them. Build housing that's appropriate for seniors to downsize from their current home. And now with the new Planning Act, there's no need for people to have bigger houses anymore. So when the seniors move out, the new changes to the Planning Act allow us, and perhaps we could repurpose some of these bigger homes to make it affordable for maybe 2 families or 3 families. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. And now we'll move on to question number 4. And we'll start with James. What specific steps would you take to protect water quality in the bay and manage waterfront development?
This is a great question and an extremely important one. It is obviously very important to keep our water quality as pristine as possible. I'm going to be brutally honest and blunt. I don't really know what steps could be taken for that. Again, as a new face and a different view on things, I'm just going to be honest, and I don't know, but that is something that I definitely want to look into. Like I said, environmental issues are a huge part of what I really want to fight for and help out. As far as the waterfront development goes, I'm not sure what the zoning areas are, but we should make sure that there are zoning in place for sure to protect a lot of that waterfront. A lot of it is being bought up and developed on, so I think that it is extremely important to keep the developments a little more reduced on the waterfront side of things. At this point, as most of that waterfront is being taken up. But as far as I'd love to see some bylaws in place, which again, with certain things that are going on, might be tough to enforce because there's really no one there to enforce them. But some hefty fines on pollution in the water and certain things like that, I think would be helpful. Even town cleanup, again, something that the community in general could try and help to do. But like I said, I'll be honest, I'm not 100% sure what the steps would be to get the water quality up, but it is something that I would look into and fight for.
Thank you, James. Next, we'll go to Bonita. What specific steps would you take to protect water quality in the bay and manage waterfront development?
Thank you. The town of Penetanguishene is one of 8 agreement partners with the Severn Sound Environmental Association, which is better known as the SSCA. The SSCA is a joint municipal services board under the Municipal Act. It provides continuing support to the federal and provincial agencies, but particularly to the local municipalities. It sustains environmental quality and ensures continued protection through wise stewardship of Severn Sound and its tributaries. Because protecting water quality in the bay is a very specialized task, and because the town does not have the personnel resources or the expertise to do so, I believe that we need to continue to work closely with the SSCA and federal provincial agencies to protect our waters. We need to continue to have dynamic and dedicated representation at the SSCA table in order to speak loudly and often so that Penetanguishene's needs are not only met, but our calls are answered. Now for waterfront development. Because of the sensitive nature of permitting development in close proximity to water bodies, the town, through its official plan, has adopted application processes and policies to ensure the long-term protection of this important environment while permitting an appropriate amount of development for private landowners. Shoreline areas are one of 9 primary land use designations and are linked to land use policies. I feel that it is important that when developing waterfronts, the official plan and the zoning bylaws are followed with rare exceptions to the rules. Thank you.
Thanks, Bonita. Next, go to Lindsay. What specific steps would you take to protect water quality of the bay and manage waterfront development?
And so for me, this would start with sampling different areas around our water, looking at where this pollution is coming from. We have runoffs coming from places like Ojibwe Landing. We also have some illegal dumping that has happened behind us in the Simcoe County Forest. What kind of runoff is coming down from there? I'd like to look at the water coming down from Copeland Creek and testing its quality, as well as the quality of the water around our various marinas. We have a lot of marinas around our bay and what is going into the water from them. As far as development around the waterfront, we definitely need to be looking at the zoning and how much we're allowing to be built. The biodiversity of our town especially needs to be recognized. Without different biodiversities in our area, we will suffer as a town, as well as our animals, and just our agriculture will suffer as well. We need to keep things clean and we need to keep things healthy. And our lake is a major selling point of our town. So why wouldn't we want to keep it beautiful? Thank you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Next is Doug Larue. What specific steps would you take to protect water quality in the bay and manage waterfront development?
Years ago, under the direction of Severn Sound Association, a major cleanup of our bay was done and clearly increased the quality of our water. Our sewage treatment plant was upgraded to protect the water quality of our bay by making sure that the effluent going into the bay was maintained at a minimal 98% pure in discharge. And as much as the development of waterfront property, there is very little property on our waterfront that can be developed. Thank you.
Thanks, Douglas. Next, to go to Debbie. What specific steps would you take to protect water quality in the bay and manage waterfront development? Debbie, you're on mute, Debbie.
Sorry about that. Alrighty, we protect our water quality with our state-of-the-art sewage treatment plant. We are one of the only municipalities in the region that no longer has sewage spills into the bay. We are also rebuilding our aging sanitary sewers storm sewers as part of our capital plan. We have wonderful waterfront parks in Penetanguishene. Rotary Champlain-Wendat Park is a treasure, as is Huronia Park on Fox Street. We have updated playgrounds, have new accessible washrooms, and plenty of benches and garbage cans. I think we're on the right track. And one more thing I'd like to mention is our water source protection of our wellhead. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Debbie. Next, to go to, again, Mike McCrae is not here. Robert Malfar is not here. Suzanne Marshall. What specific steps would you take to protect water quality in the bay and manage waterfront development?
Thank you. I think a lot of really valid points have been brought up and mentioned, and I think it's really important that we continue to be good stewards of our waterfront and of the quality of water in Penetanguishene. Several positive steps have been taken, and we need to continue to maintain that, which is paramount. I believe first and foremost in doing our best to preserve water, the quality of water, and in being environmentally conscious and sound municipality. Penetanguishene has beautiful waters, and we want to be able to promote those and also want to be able to maintain them. We have wonderful allies in this community, and we do have wonderful partnerships with those who are who really are stewards of the water, and being a part of the SSEA is very much critical that we continue to maintain that voice. The Simcoe County Greenbelt Coalition is another great ally that has a lot of really great information and is a resource that we can rely on. I think if first and foremost, we want to ensure that we continue to maintain good quality water from that perspective, we work with those who are the experts in that area and continue to maintain and be good stewards of the water from that perspective. As for development, there is limited availability in terms of waterfront development, and Penetanguishene has very well utilized the green space with the parks and access for those who live here and can enjoy that water. Thank you.
Thanks, Suzanne. Next we go to Mike. What specific steps would you take to protect water quality of the bay and manage waterfront development?
Thank you. First of all, as some of the candidates said, like we belong to the SEA that's overlooking the bay for us with the other municipalities, 8 of them. I remember when I was on council, when I first started elected back in 2000, it was a proud moment that they had delisted the Bay of Penetanguishene as one of the hot spots in Ontario. We were listening, and I was very proud of that. So you can see that the association is doing the job. They're doing great. The monitoring every day, and of course with the new sewage treatment plant that we have built 5-6 years ago is working, and we're being monitored by the environment with the sewage treatment plant. And I think we keep on going and work with the marinas, make sure that a lot of these boaters don't open their trap doors halfway down the bay. You know, have more pumping stations in the marina for their toilet potties. And for the waterfront park, I think we got a beautiful park. We worked hard at it. We're maintaining it with retaining ponds. It's being monitored, trying to get rid of the invasive species that we have in the park. So I think we're on the right track. We're going the right way, and we have full support with, like, you know, whether it's staff, the boaters, or the community. So let's keep on going forward. Let's not fall backwards. And but yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Next up is George. What specific steps would you take to protect water quality in the bay and manage waterfront development?
Thank you. Over the years, the town has done a tremendous amount through the Severn Sound Remedial Action Plan and now the Severn Sound Environmental Association to improve the quality of stormwater entering the bay. The town recently upgraded the sewage treatment plant, minimizing or eliminating sewage bypasses to the bay. We continue to separate our combined sewers and direct stormwater for treatment to stormwater management ponds. Waterfront developments are required to be properly engineered to control and treat stormwater runoff before it enters the bay. I'd like to work with waterfront developments to encourage them to not to use fertilizers near the shore where it could enter the bay and encourage algae growth. I think with these measures, I think we'll continue to see the quality of the water in the bay improve. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Next, we'll go to Bill Waters. Again, it's not here tonight, but his answer will be read by Doug Rosson.
Again, a statement from Bill Waters. First, never allow the town to sell waterfront. Second, although our sewage treatment plant does an excellent job of managing pH and bacteria content, little can be done to reduce soaps, Javex, chemicals, etc. from entering our bay. This requires you, our citizens, to change your habits, and that requires education. You've likely heard from others that the STP releases 95 to 99% pure water into the bay. This refers to OH and bacteria only. My company had a study by Leger and an industry leader in surveys. And yes, they're on the other side of the angels. They found that 92% of the public wanted a cleaner environment. A campaign to educate, offer alternative cleaning methods, etc. would help clean our bay. And that's from Bill Waters.
Thank you to Bill Waters, and thank you, Doug, for reading that. And now we'll go to Doug Rosson's answer. What specific steps would you take to protect water quality in the bay and manage waterfront development?
So the town of Penetanguishene has partnered with many organizations to ensure the water quality is protected and improved. One example that's been discussed already is the Severn Sound Environmental Association, which provides monitoring, source water protection, pollution protection, wildlife habitat, wetland evaluation of our area. The Severn Sound Environmental Association includes risk assessments and is one subject matter expert for our municipality. We must ensure that investments and contributions to the critical work that the Severn Sound Environmental Association does remain intact and sustainable for generations to come. Deputy Mayor Dubo has actively participated with the Severn Sound Environmental Association, and the contributions and commitments will continue. I applaud groups in our town that have taken an active stance on protecting our natural heritage and features, like saving our urban woodlands. Residents are becoming more engaged through development applications, and our wetlands and waterfront preservation are coming to the forefront. Looking closely, the current council has completed environmental assessment of Ojibwe Landing, which is scheduled to be back in just over a year. Some people have talked about the opportunity to develop these lands. I urge and suggest there is no rush to make any decisions or move on this property. We should preserve it as parkland or use it with the least disruption to the natural features and the least impact to Georgian Bay.
Thank you, Doug. Next, we go to Jill. What specific steps would you take to protect water quality in the bay and manage waterfront development?
We are blessed as a town to own a huge section of the undeveloped waterfront in town. And also the province of Ontario owns another huge section. So from a development perspective, the waterfront is our greatest asset. And so we do want to retain that. And it is imperative that we do protect the water quality. The goal is to keep the waterfront public and accessible to all of our residents. One of the key ways we do this is by maintaining our sewage treatment plant is up to date and operating efficiently, which we've done recently with all the new changes. We regularly ensure that the efficiency is maintained, as is evident by the reports completed by staff and inspections done by the province. We also need to continue our relationship with Severn Sound Environmental Association. They ensure that we stay on top of the water quality by regularly testing the water and with monitoring and reporting to us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jill. Next, we'll go to Brian. What specific steps would you take to protect water quality in the bay and manage waterfront development?
Thank you. I think a lot has already been said. Penetang to date and still is a responsible steward of our waterfront. We have, as been said, a water treatment plant is monitored all the time. We have made inroads to stormwater management by separating stormwater from sewage by putting their own their own piping system in to our stormwater retention ponds. SSEA has been monitoring phosphate levels and contaminant levels in our tributaries coming into the bay, as well as our wildlife and the fish habitats around the bay. We have installed, or the town has installed, the garbage receptacle in the bay at the town dock, which is recycling or collecting plastics or garbage coming from the bay. So I think we've done a good job. SSEA, I have nothing but praise for this group. I would continue to support this group with any monies that they request, because they do such a fantastic job of our bay and surrounding area. As for the waterfront area, I think the only area that could be developed is our brownfield right now, which is Ojibwe Landing. And we have to ensure that that has an appropriate land use identified for that property, and it does protect our waterfront area. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. And now finally we'll go to Dan. What specific steps would you take to protect water quality in the bay and manage waterfront development?
Thank you. With getting to go last, I'm sure you've heard most of it, but we'll have a little recap anyway. We have a long stretch of waterfront park at the Rotary Champlain Wendat Park. This limit develops buildings near the water. Some of the other steps that we've taken are that we constantly monitor the water quality of the bay with the help of Severn Sound Environmental Association. They advise us with recommendations on what to do to enhance the water quality of the bay on a regular basis. One of the other things we did is, in partnership with a company called Georgian Bay Forever, there was a sea bin installed at the town dock, which removes small pieces of garbage and plastics, keeps them from the bay, helping to preserve the water quality that we have there. And with the recent expansion of the sewage treatment plant, we have been able to produce a higher quality effluent that is released into the bay. So continuing with these steps already in place, it will help to protect the water quality and ensure that there will be waterfront areas accessible for all residents all the time. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Now it's time for the concluding statements from our candidates. You'll each get 1 minute for this, and we'll start with Bonita.
Thank you. I'd like to start by thanking the Chamber for hosting us tonight, but most importantly, thank you to all of you who have given us 2 hours of your time to get informed. Well, folks, what you see is what you get. I'm a shaker and a mover, and I get things done. With big decisions ahead for all residents of the town and a strategic plan to guide us, I would be honored to be given the mandate to refresh Penetanguishene. I will work not only to revitalize our downtown core, but to invigorate our town as a whole. As one of a 7-member council, I will work with my colleagues and dedicated staff to implement change and search for solutions so that resident needs are met. I will work tirelessly to plan for the future to ensure that seniors can grow in place, young people can work, live, and play at home, and families can raise their children in a safe community, rich in opportunity and possibilities. In closing, I'd like to thank all the candidates for throwing their hat in the ring. Such a great desire to serve residents is a testament to the great place we live in. Thank you. Merci.
Thanks, Bonita. Next for close the table, go to Lindsay.
Thank you for the Chamber for hosting us this evening, and I really appreciate the opportunity to get to speak. I hope to continue to be able to speak for the people in our community. I apologize for my little guy. It's bedtime. And I hope you will voice people like myself, the young families, to have somebody that they're comfortable to come and speak to about the issues they have in their town. I know sometimes our council can be intimidating, and I hope to lower that intimidation factor for people of my own age. I hope to be able to grow our town through the environment, through housing, through recreation, and our education. And thank you for taking the time to listen, and have a great evening.
Great, thanks, Lindsay. Next, we'll go to Doug Larue. Now it's time for the concluding statement.
As an entrepreneur in finance and a former owner of a building construction company, my management and leadership skills are solid, enabling me to sit at the council table and deal with challenging issues for the enhancements of roads, sidewalks, sewers, water, and new developments, affordable housing. My unwavering commitment to the taxpayer is heartfelt because I love Penetanguishene. I have the time and I am available. I will continue to be accountable and bring your concerns and needs to the council table. I am bilingual and able to represent the Francophone community and participate actively in French cultural functions. Je suis bilingue et disponible aux citoyens francophones. Thank you, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Chamber for spearheading this debate, and I wish all candidates the best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you, Douglas. Next, we'll go to Debbie for your concluding statement.
Thank you very much, Peter. Many thanks to the Chamber of Commerce, the moderator, fellow candidates, and the residents who are watching and engaged in the upcoming election. Best of luck to you all. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Debbie. Next, we go to Suzanne for your statement.
Great. I would also like to echo a big thank you to the Chamber for hosting this event this evening. I'd also like to acknowledge the various residents that are also watching this live with us this evening. Thank you for taking the time to become informed and aware of the many candidates who are running. This is an exciting time for the town of Penetanguishene, and I'm very honored that I am candidate in the race for a council member. My focus is on making the right decisions based on input and feedback from everyone who has decided to make Penetanguishene their homes, their communities, not just for today, but for the future. A vote for me is a vote for change. Merci à tous et à tous qui ont pris le temps pour être avec nous ce soir. Un vote pour moi, c'est un vote pour un changement dans notre communauté. Merci tellement et bonne soirée à tous. Thank you to everyone. And good luck.
Thank you, Suzanne. Next, go to Mike for your closing statement.
Thank you. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank the Chamber for hosting this, and thanks for all the candidates for showing up, and also the public out there listening to us. As you know, I've been on council for the last 18 years. Yes, the town has accomplished a lot, but I would like to be elected to continue trying to solve, I shouldn't say solve problems, but to look at issues that the town has, like the affordable housing, the OPP costs, and the Airbnb and the PSS. There's a lot of them coming on, and I still like to stay hands on deck with that. So I'm looking for your support and your vote. J'aimerais remercier les francophones d'être ici ce soir pour écouter des débats des personnels qu'on a. Moi, j'aimerais ça être réélu pour écouter votre voix, votre voix, puis continuer de le présenter pour la municipalité. Pour 18 ans, j'espère que j'ai aidé à beaucoup de francophones et j'aimerais continuer. Thank you.
Okay, merci, Mike. Okay, next we have to George for a concluding statement.
Thank you, Peter. Thanks for moderating, and thanks to the Chamber for hosting this all candidates meeting. I'm proud of what the current council has been able to accomplish over the last 4 years, but there's more work to do. In my introductory comments, I talked about my priorities for this term, if elected. I look forward to working with my colleagues as we continue to take a balanced approach to the town's finances, repairing roads and sidewalks, paying down debt, and keeping tax increases as low as possible. Determine the appropriate use of the property at 51 Dunlop Street to meet the needs of the community. To develop and implement a financial plan to pay for the future arena. Bring more affordable housing to Penetanguishene in partnership with the County of Simcoe. Support Burkeville in its quest for a new school, and review the bylaw enforcement program to ensure that it meets the needs of residents. Please visit my website for more information about Council's accomplishments this term and my priorities for next term. I'm an experienced municipal leader that can effectively represent you around the council table. Please consider George Vadabonker when you're casting your vote for Penetanguishene Councillor. Thank you for listening to our ideas and signing in this evening. Thank you.
Great, thank you, George. Again, now Bill Waters not here, so his concluding statement will be read by Doug Rosson.
So conclusion by Bill Waters, council nominee. My pre-COVID plan meetings this week have prevented me from being able to present my answers tonight. My thanks to Mr. Rosson for offering to read my replies so that my position and ideas are available for your consideration. With gratitude, Bill Waters.
Great, thank you, Bill, and thank you, Doug, for reading that. And now we'll go to Doug Rosson for his final statement.
So I want to thank you, Peter, and the Chamber for taking the time, and for everyone for taking the time to listen to us this evening. Everyone here wants to see what's best for the town of Penetanguishene. And the challenge that our public is left with is whose vision and who can execute that vision for our future. I pledge to continue to listen far beyond Election Day. We need to ensure you are included in the decision-making process. Watch your mailbox as my second brochure is being delivered, which includes my action plan. I've placed over 100 signs for those who have offered to put a sign on their property and not place them on public spaces or roadways. If you want to sign, please reach out to dougrosson2@gmail.com or 705-717-7244. I ask for your support and vote for Doug Rosson as mayor of Penetanguishene in this election. I'm committed to maintain and improve the town's infrastructure, utilize resident input first and not consultants, achieve budget accountability, fix our neighborhood traffic issues, optimize planned economic development, and take the time needed to represent you. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Next, go to Jill for a closing statement.
Thank you. Thank you again to the Chamber of the Southern Georgia Bay Chamber of Commerce for hosting the event. Thank you to all the candidates for attending and for the residents who are watching and learning. There were some very interesting ideas and concepts that have been shared tonight and to be considered going forward. I am very proud of Council's accomplishments over the past 4 years, especially with the extra challenges of COVID and doing Zoom meetings. Our strategic plan, which was developed from the input of the residents, was used as our guide for actions and decision-making. Our new connectpenetanguishene.ca site has been up and running for over 2 years now, providing a platform for residents to share ideas, to participate in surveys, and to provide a single location where studies which have been completed or in the process of being completed are located. Some of the projects which I've participated in include the Age-Friendly Study, the Arena and Recreation Center Study, Seniors Month, Seniors Day, Winterama, the Town Dock Secondary Plan Study, and our annual budgets. I'm committed to our citizens, have the experience to succeed, and the drive to enhance our dynamic, growing community. I have a vested interest in seeing our town thrive and continue to be a wonderful place to live for our children, our children's children, and hopefully generations to come. I'm asking for your support in your vote on election day to work together to keep Penetanguishene the wonderful, inclusive, diverse, growing community that it is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jill. Next, go to Brian.
Thank you. Again, thank you to the Chamber and you, Peter, for hosting this event. And it's important to remember that whomever you vote for in this election must be accountable, transparent, and willing to listen to your concerns. You've heard many candidates promise to address many issues that they want to fix or implement. Understand that this will not happen without the cooperation of the rest of council members. One vote alone does not get the work done. Each candidate must do their homework and be able to ask the right questions in order to gain support from the rest of council. I'm willing to do that work on your behalf and work with both council and the county to ensure that your tax dollars are spent responsibly and in an efficient manner. Consultants do not always need to be hired to do what intelligent people on council can do. I wish all the candidates good luck. Please make sure you come out and vote. It's really important that we see the votes out this year. And I thank you. Miigwech.
Great. Thank you, Brian. Next, go to Dan.
Thank you. I'd like to thank the Southern Georgian Bay Chamber of Commerce for hosting tonight's meeting and to our residents for attending. There's much to be accomplished over the next term, and I would like to be a part of the team that helps shape our community. I consider myself to be a leader, a team player, an independent thinker who is open-minded, approachable, and very fiscally responsible. I believe that my 24 years of experience would be an asset to our town, and I would greatly appreciate the opportunity to continue to work diligently on your behalf as your next deputy mayor. If I could, just a quick reminder, voter cards were mailed out last week, so be sure you check the mail if you already haven't done so. And if you haven't received one yet, please contact the town office to make sure that you get on the list. A vote for me is a vote for a good deputy mayor, I think. So I look forward to your response at the end of October. Good luck to everybody, and thanks for coming out. Thank you and good night.
Great, thank you, Dan. And to wrap it all up, we'll go to James.
All right, well, like everybody said, thank you guys so much for having us. Thank you for everyone who's paying attention. Honesty, integrity, and passion, these are words that I live by, and desire to help people. That is really, at the end of the day, all I stand for. I'm here to listen. I don't have an agenda to push. Hopefully some of my ideas are good and helpful to the town, but like at the end of the day, what I'm here to do is help as many people in the town as possible. I've been listening to a lot of people and will continue to listen to them. like I said, I'm one vote at the table, as you heard, but hopefully that's a vote. A vote for me is a vote for all of you, because I'm here for everyone. And like I said, I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna fight for this town. I love it more than anything. Et je suis aussi bilingue, so got that going for me. Merci beaucoup. Thank you guys all, and just don't forget to vote. It's a right that you have. Take it to heart and listen to all the candidates. Take all their what they have to say. You know, listen. Everybody here, I think, has a lot going for them and is very looking up for the town. So thank you, merci, and vote.
Thanks, James. And that does it. The concluding statements. And thank you. In conclusion, I'd like to thank the candidates for attending tonight. And for those tuning in this evening, it proves your political involvement. That's so important for our communities. Also like to ask those watching tonight that in the following days, and I say this after every all candidates meeting, to talk to the people that weren't here tonight and get them to vote, tell them to vote. No matter what side of the fence they're on, it's important that they exercise that right. And that's, yeah, and get them out on October 24th. I'd like to thank Kathy from the Chamber for her efforts in organizing this forum. And of course, the Chamber would like to thank the candidates, their teams and their volunteers who have committed time and dedication and all their work in their campaigns. This concludes this evening's forum. Thank you for tuning in, and have a good night. Thank you.
Night.
Thanks very
Good
much.
night.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.